everybody. My name is JL Kim, and I'm the principal at Idea Achieve College Prep. Those of you, however, who are working in the front line, working to make sure our society is running smoothly, I just want to just stamp thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. It's truly a time where it reminded me of why I'm in this role, why I'm in the field of education, serving our scholars and our next generation. And this was a time that revealed how much school was important and how much of an impact that school had in our students' daily lives, right? As many of you have felt it at home, trying to facilitate distance learning, trying to homeschool them, and I know how rough that was, but I also know and have heard how rough it was for our students socially, emotionally to go through this time, oftentimes isolated at home by themselves. I just want to briefly share why I do what I do as a principal at Idea Achieve. I was a first generation immigrant to the United States, where our family, it was my mom, myself, and my younger brother who moved here in 7th grade when I was in 7th grade, not knowing much English or having any cultural understanding of what it meant to be an American teenager, right? So I was bullied. I had no friends. Oftentimes I would just sit by myself in the cafeteria. Kids would throw food items, applesauce at me, just to make fun out of me. And that was me growing up, right? Hopeless and angry, anxious all the time. And of course, academically, I didn't flourish very well because emotionally, I was very, very down, and my confidence level was really, really low. But one day in 10th grade, so 3 years have passed, it was a history class, and I went into the classroom and we had like a do now or warm up activity to start the class. And as I was reading through the paper, I realized that it was a paper that I had written myself and submitted the Friday prior to that Monday. And after we were reading the paper, our teacher, I still remember her name, Mrs. Young, had asked me to stand up in front of everybody and started giving me a huge praise and recognition for the hard work and the improvement and the growth that I've made over the year, and just displaying that expertise on that paper. So what happened was that our entire class was actually annotating and analyzing that paper as an exemplar paper that I had produced. And at that moment, I remember very, very clearly, I asked Mrs. Young if I could go use a restroom. And I went to the restroom, I locked up the stall, and I just started bawling, right? I just started bawling. And I started bawling because I was happy, but it felt like all those years of anger, feelings of failure, incompetence, right? I felt like all those were just stripped away and being ripped apart. And I felt so weightless. I felt so good. And ever since that day, I committed myself that I'm going to become a teacher. I'm going to become an educator, just like Mrs. Young, to awaken the hopes of kids like me who are who had a big achievement gap, who had a lot of anger, anxiety, misery growing up, but only needed that one person to trigger that potential that I had in me, right? To just wake up. So I graduated high school, I went to college, and all thanks to Mrs. Young, I was able to become a teacher, an assistant principal, and now a principal. Just doing the same, replicating the good service and the good love that Mrs. Young had shared with me to all of our students that we served. So with all that said, I just want to thank you all for your interest and your commitment to Idea Achieve for the following fall. We're in the midst of planning what reopening the school will look like to make it as safe and as learning conducive and as effective as possible for all of our scholars. So we only ask that you put your trust and confidence in us as I commit myself with all of our staff members to educating all of your scholars, all of our teenagers, and growing them and learning together with them in the many, many years to come. So thank you. Welcome to Idea Achieve. Thank you for your time watching this video.